All right, my friends, we've had some exciting updates this week, whether it's the Warcraft 1 Tall Pixel patch, Warcraft 2 Remastered balance updates, and Warcraft 3 Reforged 2.0 updates to the new assets that we got with 2.0. There's something from Good Old Games I think is important for Warcraft fans to know. I'm going to go ahead and read this update that they posted on X just the other day. To the Good Old Games community and gamers all over the world, we're deeply saddened to share the news that Warcraft Orcs and Humans and Warcraft 2 will leave our store on December 13th, 2024. At Good Old Games, we believe that games should live forever. This means not only preserving them, but also making sure they remain accessible, updated, and enjoyable on modern systems. Everything the Good Old Games Preservation Program is built to ensure. Yet, despite our dedication and best efforts, there are times when not everything goes as we'd hoped. Seeing these masterpieces leave our store is tough, but it also serves as another reminder of why our mission at Good Old Games is so important. With that in mind, we've decided to update one aspect of the Good Old Games Preservation Program's policy. Going forward, even if a game is no longer available for sale on Good Old Games, as part of the Good Old Games Preservation Program, it will continue to be maintained and updated by us, ensuring it remains compatible with modern and future systems. We're incredibly proud of our work on both Warcraft Orcs and Humans and Warcraft 2, bringing them back to life after decades of unavailability and introducing several improvements to ensure the best possible experience as close to the original as possible. Although we'll soon no longer be able to offer these games in our store, anyone who purchased them before they were removed will still enjoy the most compatible, high quality versions guaranteed by the Good Old Games Preservation Program. And because we're DRM free, you'll have access to their offline installers, ensuring lifetime access to enjoy them whenever you'd like. This is what these titles and you as gamers deserved. Very much agreed, Good Old Games. So they got their link to the Warcraft 1 and 2 bundle. Thank you to everyone who stands with us in our mission to preserve video games. It's not just about the games themselves, it's about honoring our shared journey as gamers. With appreciation, the Good Old Games team. They're also offering the checkout code Make Warcraft Live Forever, which offers a $2, €2, 1.5 Great British Pound, or 8 PLN off. My apologies, I'm not sure what the PLN currency is. I'll throw that up on the screen here. But yeah, so there's a discount code Make Warcraft Live Forever. I strongly agree with this. Make Warcraft Live Forever. It's a great slogan. I am personally touched by this because Good Old Games is what I did my Warcraft Orcs and Humans run through and my Warcraft 2, both Tides of Darkness and Beyond the Dark Portal run through on this channel. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the difference is between the Good Old Games version and the Battlenet version and make our appeal to Blizzard. Blizzard, we know you're listening and we do appreciate the changes you're making, but let's take a look at why it might be a good idea to let Good Old Games continue to sell your game because they're taking great care of it. So let's go ahead and we're going to start with Warcraft, Orcs, and Humans. Starting with Warcraft, Orcs, and Humans, the biggest differences come in the goodies and the additional executables on the Good Old Games version. The goodies available are the original Warcraft, Orcs, and Humans manual and the soundtrack in MP3, WAV, and FLAC formats. Now, if you get the Warcraft 1 remastered version, that on Battle.net does come with the soundtrack, the remastered soundtrack, and the manual. But just the base Warcraft 1 in Battle.net does not have these included. The bigger differences, though, are the additional executables, graphic mode setup, and run multiplayer game. The graphic mode setup includes some very nice options that allow you to select different filters, how you'd like the game to actually perform whenever you boot it up, whether you want it in windowed mode or you want it full screen, what resolution you want it in, what kind of upscaling you'd like for it to operate it in. I'm personally not really the biggest on CRT filters, but this CRT filter, the TV times 2 filter, actually looks pretty decent in Warcraft Orcs and Humans, if you ask me. Now, the run multiplayer game executable is quite nice because setting up multiplayer games for Warcraft 1 is a little complicated typically. You can run the as a host game, which means you're the host and you have to give your fellow player your IP address. I know it's a little weird, but if you select to run client game, that's where you'll enter the host's IP, and then it will easily allow the two of you to connect that way. And that's how I was actually able to play that Warcraft Orcs and Humans 1v1 online match last year. Until Warcraft 1 Remastered adds a multiplayer feature, that's really going to be the best way that you have to play Warcraft 1 multiplayer with your friends, family, and compatriots across the globe. And actually, one more thing before we get to Warcraft 2, as I was digging around here, the DOSBox configuration files for the Battlenet version versus the Good Old Games version is quite a bit different. Here's the Battlenet version, very simple, and here is the Good Old Games version. Quite a bit more in there as far as the configuration is concerned. A lot more in depth with various options to get things running for the Good Old Games version of Warcraft Orcs and Humans. With Warcraft 2, the biggest difference is the Good Old Games edition gives you this classic looking Warcraft 2 Battlenet launcher, which includes Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 2 Classic. Warcraft 2 has these additional video settings, which you see over here, which allow some enhancements. You can select your display mode. You can select your specific refresh rate that you'd like. This is quite convenient if you'd like to run it at a higher resolution. Now, disclaimer, there's widescreen resolutions listed. It does not make the game widescreen. More on that later, as there is a fan-made widescreen patch, which works quite well. I'll include a little bit of that. But this allows you to, whenever the game runs and you Alt-Tab out, it's not some huge resolution flop with your icons all, crammed in the corner or anything like that. There's also some filtering, anti-aliasing enhancements available. You can do a VSync with it. You can select the scaling method. You can do integer scaling, for example, if you want a pixel perfect upscale of the game. And there's also full screen, windowed, and then aspect ratio correction if you want it to be, forced into 4:3, or if you want it to be stretched, along with gamma correction. So a lot of great improvements. This menu is not available at all with the Battlenet Blizzard re-release of the original Warcraft 2. Obviously, some corrections in Warcraft 2 Remastered, but lacking from Battlenet Warcraft 2. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the Warcraft 2 fan-made widescreen patch. So here's the configuration file for the Warcraft 2 widescreen patch. If you want to run it in widescreen, you're going to select the presentation as either windowed or full screen upscaled. I believe borderless will do it as well. You'll pick your resolution. I personally like the 1024 by 576 16:9 resolution. An interesting thing about classic Warcraft 2 is it does have to draw the game borders in chunks of 32 pixels, so 32 pixels wide by 32 pixels tall. Of these 16:9 resolutions listed, as for example, instead of 1280 by 720, it's 1280 by 704. The only 16:9 resolution that is actually true 16:9 is the 1024 by 576 resolution option. Of course, classic Warcraft 2 is 640 by 480. Also, through the widescreen patch, there's some advanced settings for different shaders. So unlike, Good Old Games included various shaders, including like CRT type shaders for Warcraft 1, they excluded that for Warcraft 2, which I think is rather interesting, but you can get those kinds of shader options back available if you utilize the widescreen patch, which I did a full video on the widescreen patch back at the beginning of the year. That's actually the main way I have been playing Warcraft 2 this year up to the release of the remaster. Couple of compatibility settings, things of that nature. You can emulate, limit the game speed based on various things, fix all kinds of options. So a lot of great things. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like. So here we are within the widescreen patch itself. As you can see, the menus are also in widescreen, which is nice. Now, one thing that is unfortunate with it is that it doesn't upscale the campaign briefings, so you'll notice that those do have pillar and letterboxing. because it's just in the original 640 by 480 resolution. But once you get into game, it looks quite nice. We'll turn on screen on just so you can see everything very well. And here we are playing classic Warcraft 2 in widescreen. Now, of course, the Warcraft 2 remaster allows you to play with classic graphics in widescreen as well. But this is nice because it is truly within the original engine, everything fully original for Warcraft 2. And you can utilize the widescreen patch very easily with both the good old games and the Blizzard release Battlenet version of Warcraft 2. In closing, Good Old Games have been fantastic curators of Warcraft Orcs and Humans and Warcraft 2 since they published them on Good Old Games back in 2019. That's how I was able to play my Warcraft Orcs and Humans run through on this channel last year, along with Warcraft 2. And through Good Old Games, that is the primary way that we're able to play Warcraft 1 multiplayer to this day. Likewise, they do have more video settings and options for both games available through their platform. Overall, I would like to make a plea to Blizzard to let Good Old Games continue to offer their version of the game. In fact, I would even advise collaborate with them. Make it so that the whatever Good Old Games is publishing and doing with their preservation program is also what's available on the Battlenet version of Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2. I'm going to link to this blog post that Good Old Games did about the Warcraft 1 and 2 bundle. It has a lot of good information in it, including quotes from the original publishers. And you can really tell that a lot of heart and soul went into their Good Old Games Preservation Program version of the two games. Alongside this, I actually do have my first ever YouTube partner program payout coming my way. I'd like to pass that along some and offer out my first ever MickCraft giveaway. I'll be doing a giveaway of the Warcraft 1 and 2 bundle as it sits on Good Old Games, which again is still available through the 13th. I'll let that run through the 10th, so December 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern time is when I'll be collecting the names. If you'd like to participate in the giveaway, please include in your comment on the video, I'd like the Warcraft 1 and 2 bundle. And together we can make Warcraft live forever. Blizzard, please hear us out. We love the Good Old Games Preservation Program. We want to see it collaborated with Battlenet. I am very happy with a lot of the developments. The original title of this video actually was going to be something like The Blizzard That Stole Christmas. I was feeling rather pessimistic, but we got the tall pixel patch. It has me feeling optimistic. Let's see if we can keep Warcraft 1 and 2 going through this Good Old Games Preservation Program. And major props to Good Old Games for continuing the preserved status of it despite the store withdrawal that Blizzard has decided to make on it. So, please keep that there. And again, I'm doing that giveaway through December 10th, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be selecting the names. I'll give a little bonus to if you're a member of the MickCraft channel, if you're a peasant level member, and you participate in the giveaway, your name will be entered 10 times. If you're a Footman level member, your name will be entered 30 times, just as an integer of the pricing on those levels. I'm Mick. This is MickCraft. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let's make Warcraft live forever, and I'll catch you in my next video.